Welcome everyone to our webinar, From Hospital Bed to Your Nightstand, How NFC and RFID Technologies Unlock Seamless Medication Management. My name is Jenny Kron, and I work as a Market Development Manager for Avery Dennison. I will be your moderator today, and I will also play the part of patient Alex. As we all know, medication management can be a complex and challenging task, especially for individuals with chronic conditions or taking multiple medications. That is why we want to highlight that by telling you the story through the eyes of such a patient. Our expert speakers for today's webinar are Benjamin Reed from Avery Dennison. Ben, please introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, Benjamin Reed from Avery Dennison. I am Market Development Manager specialising in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, and thank you very much for joining the webinar today.
Thank you, Ben. And our other speaker is Johannes Krull from NXP Semiconductors. Johannes, please say a few words about yourself.
Hi, hello, good afternoon, good morning everybody. Johannes Krull, I do business development at NXP for medical in the EMEA region.
Thank you, Johannes. So let's take a closer look at today's agenda. First, we will talk about common medication problems that affect us all. Then we would like to introduce you to a patient called Alex. So she will tell a little bit about her life and her problems with adhering to her medication plan. We believe that there are simple solutions out there that can address some of these challenges. So we will introduce you to RFID technology and how it can be a game changer in Alex's health journey. We will also shed light into how healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies can benefit from the technology. At the end, we will tell you a little bit about how Avery Dennison and NXP fit into the equation. We will also have time for a Q&A. So please post your questions in the Q&A section of your screen or in the chat, and we will address those when it's time for the session. We will also record this webinar and share the recording with you afterwards. So without further ado, let's get started. Ben, can you tell us a little bit about common medication problems?
Of course. So medication on adherence affects millions of patients globally. It is estimated that 50% of patients with chronic illnesses do not take their medications as prescribed, leading to significant health risks and increased healthcare costs. The cost to the global healthcare system is estimated to be $528 billion annually. Patients may be non-adherent for several reasons, such as lacking usage directions, forgetting the dosage, fear of side effects, financial worries, or lack of symptoms. This can lead to treatment failure, increased hospital readmissions, additional medical procedures, and also excess healthcare costs. The rising counterfeit drugs made from substandard or falsified ingredients is another major issue, imposing serious health risks. The World Health Organization has estimated that 10% of global pharmaceutical commerce, or $21 billion worth, involves counterfeit drugs. Such drugs may result in adverse side effects, treatment failure, resistance, toxicity, even death. This problem is aggravated by the complexities of global supply chains and the increase in online pharmacies. Unsurprisingly, there is a direct correlation between the demand for a drug and the availability of unsafe or counterfeit products. The grey market includes drugs diverted from authorized channels, and these products could be authentic but no longer safe for consumption due to improper storage, expiration, or counterfeits that are being altered, for example, by being diluted or by being made with cheaper ingredients. Alex, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and some of the things that you worry about?
Sure. Thank you, Ben. I would be happy to. So hello everyone. My name is Alex. I have been living with a chronic illness for a few years now, and my life can get a bit hectic at times between juggling a demanding career, two very energetic kids, and managing the illness. Some days feel like an uphill battle. My health is really a priority to me, and I do my best to keep it up, but I admit that keeping track of my medications can be a real struggle. Some mornings, I'm rushing to get everyone out the door and I forget if I already took my medications. Other times, I'm so exhausted at night that I can't remember if I already had my evening dose. It really worries me knowing that my health depends on me taking my medications correctly. Occasionally, the self-injections become a hurdle, the instructions aren't always clear, and the fear of doing it wrong adds another layer of stress. I also often buy my medications online as it is convenient and saves me a lot of time. But I worry about counterfeit drugs since I hear about them in the media all the time. Every time a new batch arrives, I wonder, what if these are fake? And then there's the expiration dates. In the rush of everyday life, I don't always check the packaging, or I have thrown it out. I don't want to accidentally take expired medications. As my condition feels quite stable, I don't speak to my healthcare provider very often. Sometimes I wonder if I'm up to date with the latest information on managing my condition effectively, or am I missing out on something that I could do to improve my quality of life? I want to be the best mom and employee that I can be, but my chronic illness sometimes makes it hard. The constant worries about my medication add another layer of stress to my already hectic life. But I'm determined to find a way to manage my medications better so I can focus on what truly matters, my family and living my life to the fullest. I wonder if other patients experience similar challenges than I do. How could I take a more active role and manage my treatment in a safe and effective way? Do you have any insights for me?
Well, of course, Alex. It's called radio frequency identification. Right. This is a wireless technology that bridges the gap between the physical medication and its digital information. And by that, what it does, it creates a connection to a digital twin for every single medication item. It allows for automated tracking and verification. It also provides unique identification for each medication, enables fast and accurate readings, even without a direct line of sight. And today, we can explore together how RFID is transforming medication management, making it safer, smarter, and more efficient than it ever has been before. So, question is then, all the different parts of RFID, there's HF, there's NFC that you will hear, right? All of those are wireless connectivity technologies. RAIN RFID as well as HF RFID, which has a subset called NFC. The selection really depends on the use case that a customer has or that a supplier has, and on the distance and number of items to be read are also key factors. So let's start with the shortest range for individual reading on the NFC part. NFC is now a standard feature in nearly all smartphones worldwide, operates at 13.56 megahertz, and is used to identify individual items at close ranges. Right. So normally we speak up to 10 centimeters. So simply bringing an NFC reader to a smartphone or smartphone to this tagged item triggers an interaction with the item. The fact that NFC is now readily available in most smartphones also means that patients can interact with items at the point of use. They can also access authentication, interactive support, and more. And this is now especially true as we have NFC mobile phone enabled payments. NFC is basically activated on every phone. And to mention, NFC is a subset of our next technology called HF, which is mid-range and a hybrid solution. So it also operates at 13.56 megahertz, but also supports vicinity range applications with long-range HF readers, which means you can read with specialized readers up to 1.5 meters. and also has the NFC functionality for data exchange at closer rates. HF RFID is often used for something like smart cabinets, for example, with the long-range readers, and on the other side for automated device and consumable communication. So basically you get the longer use case and still this mobile interaction with the patient. Then the furthest range and most items to be read is the bulk reading RAIN RFID, which operates in a different band, in the UHF band, between 860 and 960 megahertz. That's where dedicated RAIN RFID readers can accurately identify up to about 1,000 items per second at a distance of up to 10 meters and more, depending then on the system design. Also without line of sight, which makes it then possible to do things like precisely identifying items in boxes, in shipping containers, on pallets, for example, for logistical purposes.
Wow, thank you. These technologies sound really innovative, but can you tell me how they would help me manage my medications better?
Great question, Alex. So intelligent labels are giving packaging and patients like you an active role in healthcare. You can now seek physical and emotional support to manage your chronic conditions from the comfort of your own home. Both primary packaging, for example, the vial, bottle, syringes, pen, auto-injectors, as well as secondary packaging, can have an intelligent label applied that includes near-field communication. By using your smartphone, you can digitally, with just one tap, authenticate drugs equipped with secure NFC technology and also detect tampering. This quick, clear, unambiguous result gives instant peace of mind. And through interactive applications, you can easily get medication details and track adherence with the same technique. You can also access information such as instructions, potential side effects, expiration dates, and also storage guidelines upon a simple tap of your phone. For example, Envision America, which provides high-tech products for pharmacies, uses NFC technology with their Script Talk solution, so that visually impaired patients can have their medication information read out loud with an app or a speaker station. For tracking and monitoring your treatment over time, a connected drug delivery device with electronic sensing function, coupled with a companion app, can help you capture information such as dose, the time and date, rather than having to manually record that data. You can also receive alerts when your next dose is due, or if you've missed one, you'll also get an alert. Such access to product information empowers you to track, comprehend, and manage your treatment more effectively. Reordering or connecting with a doctor or your support communities also becomes easier. This collected adherence data can also be shared with your healthcare provider, keeping them informed of your treatment progress.
Sounds so simple, but how does their authentication work and what makes it so reliable?
Yeah, so maybe I can answer that one. So NFC tags in the end come with a unique chip identifier, which is an electronic serialization, which you can use for item level identification. For higher security measures, the authentication tags come really with enhanced security attributes like cryptographic cores and an algorithm to enable really secure authentication and authorization. To reassure patients worried about the security of their drug or delivery device and to prevent the use of something like fake products, manufacturers should really add authentication and authorization processes beyond the mere identification process, right? Because unfortunately, you have counterfeits, you have diverted products, as we heard already from Ben in the opening statements. While, of course, identification validates a serial number, for example, versus an online whitelist. So that means also you need to have an online connection. NFC-based authentication performs enhanced checks based on an item's NFC tag data and credentials, using then exactly those secure cryptographic functions that come with the embedded crypto cores. But the authentication verifies really that the device or its medication is genuine, securing then the access to an application or to the data itself. And authorization can further check attributes of each tag, such as, for example, ensuring rightful access of users to the data or to the delivery system. So using NFC tags, because it's also mobile phone based, right, brings even patience into the process with an easy authentication of products even before purchase or use. So it even works at the point of sales, for example. One of our most popular tags with authentication is the NTEC424 DNA, which comes with something that we call secure dynamic NFC message, which is a function that's changing with every tap of the mobile phone, this secure message, and prevents mass cloning of tags, which we have seen in the past. A good thing here is as well that it also works without an app install, so works natively, this check. Then on the other hand, we also have special temper evident tags that help to safeguard contents by detecting, for example, unauthorized product opening, right? And here we have two different variants, one working with a temper loop to check if a loop has been broken, yes or not, meaning open, yes or not, or with a capacitive tag structure where you can do even more with. It's all really to detect first opening of an item with a simple tap of an NFC-enabled phone, and also these functions work without an app. If we go further, if we then look at reusable medical devices with a built-in NFC reader, they can also identify then exactly the same consumables and authenticate the identities of those and read out data that is stored on the tag. Such a device can then, for example, get calibration data, set itself to the right parameters, basically do a self-configuration based on the consumable that's inserted. It can also use the NFC safety features then, of course, and operational interlocks. It can then also, of course, record each usage either on the host system, on the reader side, or on the consumable tag itself. And if you then add, for example, connectivity like BLE, you can even sync the data with a patient app or in the cloud in real time without the need for further tapping, for example. And such device consumable system setups can really prevent the use of wrong, counterfeit, or as Alex, as you mentioned, expired consumables, for example. It thus also increases patient safety and comfort. You don't need to think about it. The system is handling this for you. And of course, this all also protects the manufacturer's IP revenues and as well the reputation, of course. Then when we look at the smartphone-based use cases for patient support when you're self-administering at home, either through apps or through web instructions, for example, then these combination drug delivery products can come integrated with different sensor technology. So this could be fill level, pressure, temperature, differential flow, whatever you can think about. And this has then really the advantage that you capture data in real time. You can do this, of course, then also down to the drug and dose level, including then from the host system or from the, in this case, the smartphone, with dates, timestamps. You can then read out this data as well via your phone and transmit it via the phone back to a backend, to a cloud for processing, or to run this data through AI machine learning models. It also enables the usage tracking, the automatic reminders for the patients. You need to take your tablets, please, again, within the next 15 minutes, because that's the window where they have where they work best, right? And of course, this data can also be then shared, for example, with your doctor or your healthcare professional, if there's, of course, and that's the authorization part again, if he's got the opt-in and the right credentials for it. What it can also do is avoid application errors, for example, through sensory feedback loops, to make sure that everything really worked all right. Like, did you shake, for example, the inhaler before usage? Did you hold it correctly? On this end, we offer flexible sensor integrations, so we have fully integrated devices or multi-chip solutions that can be built specifically for consumer applications. Benefits for the patients, of course, are better self-care. It's also more ease of mind for the healthcare professionals. It's getting more reliable, accurate data on how the treatment is really adhered to by the patient, and then also checking how does his behavior change. In this term, also having this feedback loop. And for the manufacturers, it's also then better therapy adherence and outcome of really therapies with the medications.
Wow, interesting. Thank you for this explanation, Johannes. But how does this technology compare to other methods that I have tried before, such as QR codes?
There's a couple of differences, Alex. So one of the benefits of NFC is they're always available, because you can access your medication schedules, reminders, and stuff like this anytime, anywhere. It's even online, because the data is really stored on the tag. Second advantage, it's really with the NFC based mobile payment enabled. You don't need to fumble around with a camera or apps anymore. You just take the phone, tap it to the tag, and you see the data that's on your medication, and you get this immediately. Also, another thing is that the NFC tags come in various shapes and sizes to fit any needs. So you can put them onto bottles, blister packs, even onto individual doses. And this can also be so small and integrated where you could not use QR codes, because they either get too small or they are blocking something like optical inspection of, for example, a vial or syringe that needs to be done in the production process. Then also the question is, what happens if your dosage changes, if you get new instructions, right? Thing is, the data that is stored on the NFC tag itself can easily be changed as needed. That can be done through your phone, through the device, for example. And that's the thing, because NFC is not static data. It's real-time information as well, like usage, status of the drug, and many more. Also then, what you have with the crypto cores, which are state-of-the-art that you have there, you're protecting your sensitive and medical information really with strong cryptographic algorithms on the edge. And also, of course, and that's coming more and more as this world gets more and more connected, you can also encrypt, for example, messages, communication. You can randomize IDs, for example, to ensure that really your health data remains confidential and is only accessible to people that you allow to opt in.
Well, what if I have to go to the hospital at some point? How can this technology be leveraged for my hospital checkups as well?
Well, Alex, if your condition needs medical attention at a hospital, you can have a less stressful and more pleasant experience knowing that RAIN RFID is there to automate critical tasks, also reducing human error and improve staff efficiency, while safeguarding against the 5 patient rights. Increased automation will also allow medical professionals to focus their time on the most important task, which is caring for you. As a real-life example of how RAIN RFID is being used, a decade ago, Bluesight embarked on a mission to revolutionize hospital inventory management with KitCheck, a pioneering RAIN RFID-based system that has since transformed inventory management in hundreds of hospitals across North America. So what was the challenge? The traditional method of managing medication inventory is time-consuming and prone to errors, as it requires staff to manually handle hundreds of individual doses. And what was the solution? Every dose of medicine is tagged with a unique ID using RAIN RFID technology. And the RFID tag can be applied at various stages throughout the supply chain. And when the kit is returned to the pharmacy, it is then scanned to identify what needs to be restocked. And then a final scan is done to make sure that it's 100% accurate, or it alerts the user to any errors.
So the technology doesn't just help patients like myself. How actually can the healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies benefit?
Another great question, Alex. So firstly, by direct one-to-one patient engagement. With the aid of NFC technology, pharmaceutical companies can communicate and build direct relationships with patients like you. This direct channel enhances patient education, and it can also be used for practical services, such as reminders, leading to a more informed and effective treatment plan. Pharmaceutical companies will also gain insight into consumer behavior that has previously been out of reach for them, as well as explore direct business models. Then there's product authentication. By digitally authenticating medications equipped with a secure NFC tag via a smartphone, it helps prevent the use of counterfeit drugs. You would receive immediate feedback on the authenticity of the drug, while the pharmaceutical company gains valuable information such as geolocation to monitor the supply chain and also combat grey market activities. Additionally, it also builds trust and protects brand reputation. And then there's also improved treatment effectiveness and outcomes, which is going to be important for you, Alex. By helping patients like you manage your medications more effectively, pharmaceutical companies and healthcare providers can ensure better health outcomes and reduce complications due to non-adherence. For healthcare providers, real-time data collection and remote monitoring pave the way for more adaptive and responsive treatment plans, tailored to individual patient needs such as yours. So let's have a look at supply chain visibility next. When every item is given a unique serial number, they can be tracked and traced all the way from manufacture to the point of use. During the manufacturing process, RAIN RFID can be used to identify each individual dose, making sure that there are no mix-ups. This unit-level identification transforms the manufacturing process, enabling different types of Pharma 4.0 applications. Increased visibility will help with planning, managing inventory, and expiration date monitoring, which can be at warehouses or at the healthcare facilities, also allowing for faster product recalls. And through automation, using RFID for inventory and expiration date management, it can save valuable time to focus on other tasks. And also logistics can be made more efficient. Increased inventory accuracy can be dramatically improved from an average of 60% at any given hospital to a near 100%. And then finally, enhance patient safety. Automation means less manual errors at the point of care, increased patient safety, and safeguards the 5 patient rights as explained before. The unique number on the RFID tag also facilitates automated authentication, therefore reducing counterfeiting and diversion at different stages of the supply chain. So coming full circle, NFC and RFID technologies can empower healthcare providers and pharmaceutical companies while still keeping the patient at the core.
It sounds great. What about sustainability? In what ways can these technologies contribute towards a more sustainable future?
Sure, Alex. So RFID technology can play a significant role in promoting sustainability in medicines and medical devices across various stages, of the product life cycle. Only 9% of a product's carbon footprint comes from the burning or buying of a product. The remaining 91% comes from waste, transport, end-of-life recovery, and the manufacturing process. RFID can play a big role in reducing the 91%, as data collected through RFID systems can be analyzed to measure its carbon footprint and identify areas for improvement in sustainability practices. Sustainable innovations in RFID tag materials further improve sustainability. During the manufacturing phase, RFID helps with process automation and quality control, helping to identify defects early in the production process, therefore minimizing waste. During the distribution process, RFID tags provide an end-to-end accurate real-time information on location and quantity throughout the entire supply chain. RFID can streamline logistics and by tracking shipments in real time, optimizing transportation routes, reducing fuel consumption and emissions. It can also help prevent overstocking and minimizing waste due to expired or obsolete products. During the use of the product, consumers and healthcare professionals can better be informed on the condition of the item. To track use-by dates, ensuring that medications are used before they expire, reducing waste and saving costs. Also, RFID technology plays a crucial role in the end-of-life management of medical devices and pharmaceuticals. Studies have shown that RFID tags do not hinder the recycling of cardboard, making them a sustainable solution for pharmaceutical packaging. Additionally, RFID helps identify packaging materials, further improving sorting and recycling efficiency, as well as enabling circular business models.
Well, thank you very much to both of you for explaining this all to me. It's really been a journey learning to live with a chronic illness. But with the help of technologies like NFC and RFID, I'm confident that I can feel empowered, informed, and connected, both at home and at the hospital. It's really not just about taking my medications correctly anymore. I can actually have an active role in managing my health and live life to the fullest without worry and uncertainty holding me back. So thank you. But before we finish, can you both tell me a little bit about your companies?
Yes, of course. So NXP is one of the largest semiconductor manufacturers in the world, and we also actually a co-inventor of NFC back in the days. We operate, as you can see, globally, but also have a local footprint. So basically, we have sales offices, field application engineers, solution engineers locally on every continent. What really makes NXP special is that we do have a very broad product portfolio, which enables us to become trusted advisors for our customers, right? So we don't need to push into one direction, and to support not only on pure hardware and component level, but also on a system level where customers can then really reap benefits in terms of cost savings, efficiency gains, and differentiation in competitive end markets. Ben, who is Avery Dennison for people who don't know yet who Avery Dennison is in the webinar?
Thank you, Johannes. So Avery Dennison, you've probably heard of us for our material side of the company, as well as our solution side, where we are the largest manufacturer of RFID inlays globally. But we also have the material side, which focuses on different packaging and labeling material, as well as adhesives as well. So we are an $8 billion revenue company operating out of 50 countries globally, with 8 manufacturing sites, and then also 5 research and development facilities around the world too.
Super. And together, let me just quickly sum up. Avery Dennison and NXP together really are the large-scale, reliable, and experienced partners in the healthcare industry who can support you and advise you on anything from simple hardware components and question around this via software and services, which we also both offer, down to full solutions that we can enable for you with the right partner network. And as said, all this on a global level down with a local footprint. So whether you're a large or small customer, we're looking forward to bringing your healthcare offering to the next level together. Also, if you want to see how we do that live instead of PowerPoints and the webinar, then we would like to welcome you and discuss with you in person at the next trade shows that we are visiting, namely Medica in Düsseldorf, Germany next week, and PharmaPack in January in Paris. Or you can also reach out to Ben or myself anytime via email. Happy to discuss anytime and do great customer projects together. And with this, we would like to thank you very much for attending our short webinar today. And I would suggest that we move to the Q&A section. And I hope it's full, the Q&A section.
Thank you very much, Johannes. So now it's really time for all of your questions. So please post them in the Q&A section of your screen. We have already received a few questions. The first one is for you, Johannes. Why should I use a secure tag versus a normal tag? A counterfeiter would first need to copy the drug, which always is a huge entry barrier.
So basically, there's two things about this, right? So I think the question with the entry barrier is what Ben already answered at one of the opening statements. What we see on counterfeits quite often is they don't copy counterfeiters don't copy a drug, right? In best case, you get water in a syringe, for example, a vial. Second, so this entry barrier doesn't exist. Second topic that I quite often hear from companies, oh, we are just at the start, right? A counterfeiter will not be interested in our solution. Thing is, if you are successful, they will be very much interested really quickly. And this means you want to have a secure environment in the field, right? And you don't want to have mixed secure, non-secure tech population out in the field, or hardware infrastructure if you do a combination drug, for example, because that is a huge hassle. So go for the security. It's a minimum investment, right? It also will make your life far easier if you go to FDA with your device or your system. Also for cybersecurity and safety certifications of 501 case. Go for the security immediately. We can just recommend you. Otherwise, we need to do 2 projects with you, the standard one and the security 3 years later.
Thank you, Johannes. There's also another question for you. Can the NFC tag send signal to phone automatically, or must someone always tap a phone or a reader?
So you need to tap those, right? Because the NFC tag itself is batteryless. It's powered by the field of the mobile phone, right? So you need to tap it. What you can do, of course, is have something like a low power card detection mode so that the reader in the phone, as soon as a tag comes into the field, starts operating something, right? But you always need to tap, because also the distance on NFC is up to 10 centimeters. So it's in the nature of the technology.
Thank you. Then we have a question for you, Ben. How can this technology support the track and trace solutions, or are they competitors to each other?
Okay, so from the question, I think you're talking about the 2 different types of technologies, NFC and RAIN RFID. So with NFC, this is a one-to-one communication that is typically used for solutions for authentication and engagement. And with it being near read, so you're only having that one-to-one engagement. And then RAIN RFID or RFID is traditionally used as a supply chain technology. So this gives you the ability to read, as Johannes mentioned during the presentation, the ability to read many at the same time without need for line of sight. So now you can automate that inventory management process throughout the supply chain at multiple touch points, from manufacture to distribution, logistics, and then also at the hospital. So they don't compete with each other, they just have different use cases.
Thank you, Ben. I think, Johannes, maybe this one is for you. What are the constraints to read NFC in manufacturing? Is 10 centimeters realistic? And what is the speed of the readings? And how is the security protocols managed in readers' manufacturing environment?
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, if you're using really NFC, the 10 centimeters, it's an up to value, right? It always depends on the size of the antennas that you can use. That's why, for example, quite often there is the HF part used, which has the HF long range readers, where you then get even more than 10 centimeters. On the read speeds, they are higher on NFC, up to 848 kilobits per second. On HF, they are lower, but you have this additional read range. So what we do in high volume, high speed production environments is quite often that you then serialize the programming, right? So you have one reader with multiple antennas or multiple readers with multiple antennas over your production line and program one after the other. The security protocols, how they are managed, that's quite simple. Normally you have in the reader that you install at the production line, you put, for example, a secure element, which is a hardware secure tool that holds the master key, right? And then it reads out the UID of a tag, combines this with the master key to create a specific key for this specific tag, injects this one, and does this with all the tags. And basically the secure element, you can think about it as an HSM that you install at the production line. So you cannot get this master key out. You can also, if it's third-party manufacturing, you could even send such a secure element in SIM card format, for example, to one of your third-party manufacturers and limit it. So if you say, okay, my friend, you're allowed to do 5,000 of my devices, that then this secure element can only do this cryptographic operation 5,000 times, and afterwards it stops working, right? So also if you have third-party manufacturing somewhere, you can also be sure that they cannot produce suddenly, let the line run in a fourth shift and suddenly they produce 7,000 pieces instead of 5. So I hope that answered the question. If there's more, just shoot an email.
Thank you, Johannes. That was very comprehensive. I think we have time for one more question. And I think maybe you can answer this one too. Can you add an extra layer of security for NFC solution like a 2FA to avoid being scanned or validated just for proximity?
Mm-hmm. I hope I understand the question correctly, but thing is, if you want to do something appless, right, you can tap, you get the result. What we also have in quite a lot of the tags is mutual authentication. So that's a challenge response between tag and reader, can be smartphone in this case. And if this challenge response fails, then the tag will not reply anymore, or the phone will say, hey, I stop operation. So that's a possibility. If I did not understand your question correct, please send me an email afterwards.
Thank you very much, everyone. I think that's all the time we have for today.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.